Welcome to another episode of the condo renovation. Hey, if you've been with me, thanks very much. I mean, this episode was supposed to be about me painting some door frames, and I'm still gonna probably work on those later, but the Spectrum guy is supposed to be here after a while for the cable and the internet connection and stuff. We're kind of hanging out, and so I thought I'd put my electrician's hat on for a minute and fix a couple different plugs. Now, I was getting ready to put the cover plates back on, and just because you took the cover plates off, here's an idea for you. And when you get ready to paint, take your cover plates off. I just put that one on. It looks just slightly crooked there. My pet peeve is after you install your cover plates, they can kind of wiggle just a hair. If you stand back and look at it, you can line them up straight, even though there's only one screw on there. Okay, and so I thought, oh, I'll just put on the cover plates while I'm waiting. But just because the cover plates came off doesn't mean you can just plop them back on there, because there's going to be a few things that you might want to take care of first. You know, your electrical outlet could be slightly crooked, so I've already adjusted some back and forth a little bit. And see this one here, I left the cover plate off for a second, and I know that's not ready to put in yet because this is kind of coming out at an angle, and the top is pushed in further than it should be. So when I put the cover plate on, this top electrical outlet is pushed into the wall a little bit. It's not going to be flush. And of course, I've got to turn the power off to be able to fix that. You can kind of see this tab here. See how the tab is up at an angle. See? That's because this has been pushed in. And so I've got to pull that out, rebend the tab, and then after I pull it out, I can see this is not coming in straight. It's kind of off at an angle. So I'll pull it out far enough so I can take it and kind of wrench it and bend it over to the left a little bit, bend that top bracket. Hopefully it won't break. And then I can screw it carefully back on there and get the cover plate on there nice and straight. You know, you just take a little bit of time, and you can do these things on your own. And so that's one that I've got to do. And I left another one down here. I'm not even going to actually do these just yet. I'm going to show you another one up in a bedroom. But see this one here? Can you see how it's coming out at an angle? See that? Look at that. It's coming way out at an angle. It needs, this side is lower than this side. This side's sticking way out. So if I just put the cover plate on, this edge is going to stick way out from the actual edge of the cover plate. This side's going to be pushed in. I don't like doing stuff like that. I want to fix that. So, you know, that's another one I've got to do. And I don't know if I'm going to put those on this particular video. I may make a separate video of that and title it something slightly different than this other one. And most of the cover plates went on pretty good here. And like I said, I had to adjust a few. And I adjusted them. You shouldn't really adjust them with a screwdriver, but I do when the power's on. I really shouldn't. But now look at this one here. See the let's get that little thing out of there. See this top bracket, how it's bent up like that at an angle? Well, it shouldn't be like that. That has this electrical outlet up here pushed in further than the bottom one. Can you kind of see that? I can't get you up any closer to the wall. If I put the cover plate on, this one's going to be sunk into the cover plate. You might think, oh, well, you know, is anybody really going to care? Well, I care. I want things right. So I've got to turn the power off to this. This is the one we're going to work on, and I'm going to show you what I do after that, okay? And I know this power is on. Let's just find my trusty little electrical tester. Where is it? I usually carry it in my top. Oh, there it is. The top of my mail bag. I'll just put it on. And it doesn't matter which side you poke this in. Okay, see, just kind of move this and see the light's on. And that says 110 down there. That says 220. I've never even used the 220 one. I don't even care about that one, because usually the only thing I test is electrical outlet wiring, light fixture wiring, light switch wiring, and stuff like that. Okay, just wiggle it around a little bit, and I know the power's on. Okay, so I've got to find the right breaker, and I'll be right back to show you what I do with this plug. I relocated the camera. Hopefully you can see this. I just turned off the breaker. I think it was because it said bedroom outlets, but then there was one that said master bedroom outlets, and I just want to take that in there, wiggle it around a little bit, make double sure that this is the one. And if you have a lamp, an extension cord, a radio, anything like that, you could plug that in and check it. Okay, so I feel pretty confident that that's the one. Okay, remember in the same room, I haven't fixed it yet, but I had a tab like that was loose, and I was pushing it back and forth. It was actually snapped off. I still have to replace that, so you're in luck on that. On a different episode, I will be showing how to actually replace one of these electrical outlets, and it's very simple to do. You don't have to be an electrician in order to do this. Newsflash. Okay, I'm just going to take this all the way out, this screw here, and it's got a little cardboard washer on the back, and I can kind of pull that off. You see, it holds that on the back of that. Some do, some don't, and then you just kind of push it on there, and it holds, keeps your screws from falling out and getting lost and stuff. See how far that sticks out? Okay, so I'm going to just pull that out like that, and grab my pliers and see if I can't bend that without snapping that off. I'm pretty sure I can. I still, even though the power's off, I still am careful, you know. Okay, I'm going to tweak that. That looks good. That's nice and straight. Now, okay, that's all I did. Okay. Now I can just push this back in there like that. Make sure it looks like it's kind of coming out slightly at an angle, so I'm just gonna tweak it over that way with the wires, and that's looking nice. I'm thinking that's okay. I'm gonna do it just a hair more like that. Well, you should be able to tweak your stuff, because it's just the wire that you're bending, that you're repositioning. And I always like to do these screws by hand. I don't like to get my battery operated drill out for that. You could strip these in your plastic electrical outlet, you know. And I don't really need to put this washer back on, but if you really want and so inclined to have it back on, you could stick it back on, just like that. I'm just lining it up. You got a Phillips screwdriver, and that's about all you're going to need to fix this. Okay. And see, it can move around. There's slop on the screws, so just because you look at your outlet and you see that it's slightly crooked, yeah, you can move it. I just want to get it snug. If you over tighten the screw, you can push that little bracket. You can bend it enough, and this will sink right down into this wall again. If you want it, you just want to make it snug. Okay, then I just take on the side and do that. Okay, and the bottom one, I haven't tightened it up enough yet. And I'm just lining that up. That looks way straighter. Give it just a little twist here. Okay. Oh, sorry, you need a standard screwdriver too. My mistake. Yeah. Okay. Put that back on there. Okay. Oh, and when you take the cover plates off, I can look at it and see. I usually like to clean these off, and this time we didn't really clean them. But sometimes you'll have some paint droppings on the top. You can take your sheetrock knife or paint. If you get a little paint on there or caulking on the backside, you can just take your sheetrock knife and do this business, and you can clean it. You can clean it right off. I've done that to many cover plate before, and cleaning off the paint that's stuck on there, because the last person installed these when the paint was slightly still wet the very next day. If you're painting walls, wait a couple days before you put your cover plates back on. Okay, and then if you happen to see some crummy stuff on there, flip it over, and this one could be nice and clean because it was always down at the bottom anyways. Now you're just gonna flip it up to the top, or clean it off with your sheetrock knife. Very simple to do. Make your things look nice, and I'm looking back here and see you can slightly wiggle this a little bit both directions. And the key is not to over tighten this screw. Sometimes you tighten that too much, and if your cover plate's not those vinyl new style cover plates, maybe they're just a hard plastic, not plastic, but it's kind of like not vinyl either, but it's hard. And if you tighten the screw too much, sometimes you can crack that, especially with light switches. Okay, there. I'm looking at that. That's looking good. See, it's flush. This is sticking flush with that. That's flush. It's all nice. It looks good. And you've done it, VideoJoe. That's all you got to do. You don't have to be an electrician to fix your electrical outlets. Now had I bent that tab on the electrical outlet, and it cracks me up. Remember, I called it a plug. Some people say, "Hey Joe, that's not a plug. That's an electrical duplex receptacle." Okay, yeah, right. But years ago when I started installing, they called them plugs. But in any case, if I were to have taken that metal bracket and bent it and broke it off, or if it was already snapped off and maybe that's why that was pushed in too far, then I would have to replace this whole electrical outlet. Because this is the old school design, I would get the same old school design, and they have these in Navajo white, and they also have them in white. So look and see what you got. You want to replace like for like. You don't want to put a Navajo white one in there, which is kind of an off-white color, with a white cover plate, and all your other stuff in your room is the other color. I mean, take note of that. Take your outlet if you have to. You could take it to the store or take a picture of it and get like for like. I always like to match existing conditions the best I can. Nowadays, the electrical outlets aren't separated like this as much. They're in a rectangle. Have you seen those? Those are the ones that most people install nowadays. But they install the very same. So, hey, next time I find one which is broken, which actually I do have a broken one, I'll show you that on another video. And it just happens to be this top one here. And I put the cover plate back on just because I thought Spectrum was going to be here working on all this stuff. And Momi, she brought her computer over, she brought her printer over, she brought her all of her remote, her Netgear modem, and the phone and all that. So when Spectrum's here, there's a tip for you when you get your cable installed, and if they're doing your phone service and all that, have all your stuff there so that before they leave, you know the computer's hooked up properly, the modem's hooked up properly, the printer is hooked up through the modem into your computer properly and all that kind of stuff. So we got it all set in here waiting for the guy. And so that's why I put the cover plate back on, just for kicks. But see, this top one is springy. That's because it's not screwed in, because that top bracket is broken and it's actually missing now. So next time I go to the store, I'll pick up an electrical outlet, and I'll show you that on a different episode. Don't worry. Now I just repaired this electrical outlet. If you want to see that, I got that on a preceding episode video. You just have to find it. But I'm not going to work on that. When I got that all fixed and I showed you how to do it, and I've got a kind of a similar issue downstairs. I don't know if it's on the same breaker or not. I've got the breaker shut off right now. One of them upstairs. I'll have to turn that back on. But there was another one down here that I needed to work on. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, this one happens to be coming in at a slight angle, and it's pushed in. I can tell the top electrical outlet is almost flush with the sheetrock. It's supposed to be sticking out so it has enough room for this cover to fit on there, but I know it's not going to fit. You see how the bracket is kind of coming out at an angle, and I'm hoping to rebend that, and I've got to tweak that sideways. And I kind of did that similar upstairs on that other electrical outlet. This one should be about the same. Let's see if it's on the same. Let's see if it just happens to be on the same breaker. I don't know if it is or not. I kind of doubt it. Get my tester out. Yeah, see the orange lights on. Can you see that? Off. Now it's on, wiggling around. All right, I'll have to find the breaker. Never, and I repeat, never work on electrical projects with the power on, okay? Even something like this. I mean, if I was a professional electrician, I would know how to do it, and I could probably do it if it was life or death without turning the power off. I don't want you doing stuff like that. I'm gonna be safe rather than sorry. So I will try to locate the electrical outlet breaker and turn that off. Well, isn't that something? This was on, you know what circuit this was on? I couldn't find it. I tried living room, kitchen plugs. What else did I try? Garbage disposal. Because look where this is. It's on a little wing wall. And this area, I checked all, smoke alarms, entry, and it was under microwave. Usually when you have a microwave, usually you put it on a dedicated circuit, but they must have thought, hey, let's add a couple other things. So, they had to run a circuit from there to the electrical panel. So then they had to run their electrical wire from there across, down, over here to there. And look at this, there's another electrical outlet here. That one's hooked up to the microwave too. I would have guessed, there's a garbage disposal right here. I would have guessed on the garbage disposal, on that circuit, they could have ran this electrical outlet and the other one, but no, it's off the microwave. Okay, all right, and this electrical outlet is pushed in at an angle, and this is bent out, and I checked this. I checked it a couple times, but sometimes with these testers you have to wiggle it back and forth, and the light is definitely off, okay? And if you have an old tester, you want to check your tester in a good electrical outlet to make sure that the light's even working, because the last thing you want is to make the assumption that the light's working, and then you test something, you find out the power's not off, and it's your tester, and you just electrocuted yourself or something. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's get this out of here. Wow, it looks like the box is pushed way back in there too. These screws are just barely fitting in the box. I wonder if I can take a look at that. Okay, we'll get this pulled out of here. Yeah, the box is pushed in at a funky angle, and you know, it's because whoever installed the sheetrock, this edge of the sheetrock is not on the outside of the plastic box. I'll bet you if I were to trim that, I could get it in there better. I'm wondering if that box would spring out. See, it's packed. It's packed kind of full too. See, this here is coming up at an angle, so I'm gonna get my pliers out. Do you have to be an electrician to do this? No, I'm not a professional licensed electrician. Come on, just make sure your power's off. See, now that's coming up nice and straight, and just happen to have a sheetrock saw here. I didn't even think I was going to have to do this. And it looks like it's nailed on a stud over there. And so I think I could just trim this a little bit. We'll see. We shall see, shan't we? I want to see if I can get that box kind of slid out a little bit, if it'll spring back. It might not, but I'm going to try. The cover plate will still cover it. Okay. The last thing I want to do is do anything that's going to keep me from finishing my project or from having to patch a wall. That's the last thing we want, huh? That's the last thing we want. And I've got it. It's not really moving, but you know, when I reattach the electrical outlet, it could pull it back a hair, but I don't think it's really. I think it's going to be okay where it is. I thought it might spring back, but it's not. That's okay. All right. Okay, so I fixed that, and it was in there kind of at an angle, and it might have been because this box was pushed in there at an angle. But I mean, usually you can just take your wires and you can flex them back and forth. And the one thing I find very interesting, isn't that something? They've got a 15 amp wire connected onto here and run. This is a 14 gauge wire, and 14 gauge wire is supposed to be on a 15 amp circuit. Let's just, and so I don't know what they ran up here. The breaker is a 20 amp breaker, I believe. Let's take a quick look at this. See there? That's a 20 amp. See, it says microwave, 20 amps. And in fact, every single one in this box is 20 amps, isn't it? That means all the wire sizes to all of these different circuits should be 12 gauge wire. And that is a thicker wire, because in reality, if you have a smaller wire on a 20 amp breaker, and if something were to happen and you put too much power connected onto here, let's say, and the circuit breaker is not going to trip until it thinks that there's, you know, more than 15 amps on the circuit. Thus, your wires could start melting, it could fry, it could spark, it could cause a fire. Son of a gun, why would they do such a thing? It's a common occurrence. 15 amp breakers, 14 gauge wire. 20 amp breakers, 12 gauge wire. And I know this wire is very thin. I can tell it's not 12 gauge wire. Those little dogs. Okay. I'm pushing that on there. I can see it's still kind of slightly coming out at an angle,
So I'm gonna pull this out and I'm just gonna twist it like that. And then check it again. Like if I were to push it in, that looks good. That looks really good. So sweet. That's all I'm doing to this electrical outlet, and I've got it fixed. Okay? And it had a little cardboard washer on the back, so do I have to put it back on that way? No, not really. I'm going to. I could leave that off. Lots of them don't have them. It's just usually when they come in a plastic bag or something. Sometimes years ago, the screws sometimes would be missing. And it's like, where is the screw? Oh, well, it fell off at the store or whatever, and now you lost it. And so they decided to start putting those little cardboard washers on. Okay, now all I'm doing is lining it up because this can slide back and forth. Okay, and I can see they almost cut this sheetrock back too far, but it's okay. It's, you know, it'll work. These tabs are up high enough, and I don't want to do it too tight. I want this to stick out. Okay, I'm thinking I'm done. And I just repaired an electrical outlet. Okay, if you were to call an electrician to come out, you know how much that would have cost you? You might think, oh, that was easy. I could have done that had I known what to do. Now you do. But, you know, an electrician, they probably have a service call amount, how much to charge to come out, and then for the first 15 minutes, and then anything after that is X amount, probably $100 just to do what I just did. Okay, and it's fixed. And all you had to do was spend, what, 5 minutes of your valuable time watching VideoJoe show you how to save 100 smackaroos. All right, that's it from here. Thanks for watching. Now, what is our project today? I'm going to look at this electrical outlet, and I want you to check it out with me. Before I put this cover plate on, I painted everything, so I took all the cover plates off and put masking tape off of everything, and I'm still in the process of finalizing painting. I've already painted the baseboards. Don't those look nice? And I show you how to paint baseboard. I've got that on a video on a previous episode, and I still have to cut in the wall down to the baseboard, but I started putting on a couple electrical cover plates, and I started having some issues with some. This one I just happened to fix, and that's on a different previous episode, okay? And it was pushed into the wall. This top one was pushed in there, and it was coming out at an angle I call cattywampus. It was coming out at an angle like that. It wasn't like nice and flush set on the electrical cover plate. When you screw the cover plate on, it's nice to have it all fitting nice and flush and everything. And I think I did a pretty good job on it. And I show you how to do that. And so I've got this one I want to take a look at. Hey, I'm showing this for your benefit because you don't have to be an electrician in order to fix certain things around your house. Okay? This being one of them. And I think this was the springy one, and I've already checked this. I've already turned the power off, and I've got a little electrical tester, and I tested it in there, moved it around, made sure that the light is off and stuff. And as I recall, it was this one. We'll soon find out if it was or if it wasn't. Yeah, see this? See how this top thing flexes? So every time you plug a cord in there, this thing pushes in like that. Well, it doesn't necessarily. If you got this screw in there, this is not gonna flex as much, but I want to check that out anyways because I have a feeling this may actually be snapped off, and I might have to replace it. And I want it to see if that was the case. So I'm gonna take it out, because if I have to, if this is broken or bent so much that it's not holding anymore and this is always gonna flex like that, forget it. I'm not having that on my watch. I'm gonna fix it. This with a new electrical outlet if I have to. These things, you know, this is the old style. Guess how much it costs at the store? Less than $1. Most hardware stores will sell these for less than $1. If it costs you much more than $1, it shouldn't cost you very much more. This could be like 87 cents or some ridiculous amount. You don't want to buy the one in a box. They'll sell you one of these for $2 or $3 if you want to pay it. But then they have some other ones they sell right off the shelf, all stacked in a box, open like this, for less than $1. Okay? So I wanna see, look at that. You see there? It's broken. That shouldn't have done that. And did I know that to begin with? No, I didn't know it to begin with. I thought I will check it out and see. Okay? So I know I'm gonna have to go to the store and get one, and I've got another one upstairs. It's got the same issue. For the time being, I'm gonna screw this back in, and I want to put the cover plate over it just for safety. Okay? And next time I'm at the store, I'm gonna have to get a new cover or new electrical outlet for less than $1. Poor Joe. I gotta spend one of my hard-earned dollars to fix this cover. Hey, could I leave it like this? Yeah. Heck, if you wanted to, you could. I wouldn't suggest it though. See? It feels no different than it was before because this cover plate is keeping it from pushing in. You take a cord, power cord, vacuum, whatever, and plug in there. Eventually, you're gonna snap and crack this off. Could I live with that? Yeah, I could, but I know it's not right. And when I find things that are wrong, I'm gonna fix them and make a video just for you, okay? There was another one upstairs that was like that, and I thought, I wonder if that can be clicked in somehow, but no, it's snapped off right there, okay? And here's the screw. Am I gonna throw away this screw in the washer? Heck no. You never know when you're gonna need one of those, or if an electrical duplex or a light switch is missing a screw, or if the other screws are stripped, or if you take some apart and you are missing one screw or something, hey, you got an extra one. Do you have to use these for electrical outlets? No, you can use this for a blank plate. I mean, you can use a screw for all kinds of stuff. It may come in handy. Don't throw it away. Okay, I never throw that away. I have a little box where I keep my extra screws and that kind of thing. Okay, so hey, this video, it didn't really show you how to fix it, but it showed you how to find the issue so that you could resolve the issue. That's what it's all about. Doing things right. Yeah, it looks like there's nothing going on with that one. I only found that out because I had the cover plate off. Okay? And now I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna make it right so that there's no issues with it later on, so it doesn't get snapped off, so somebody doesn't jerk and the whole thing comes out, or somebody gets electrocuted. You never know about stuff, okay? $1, and I'll fix it next time, okay? And don't worry, when I get ready to replace that, of course, I'll make a video just for you. Now that we've determined that we've got to replace that electrical outlet, what am I going to talk about next time? Well, it might just have something to do with this electrical outlet down here. I'm getting ready to install this cover plate on here, but when I look at that plug, that electrical duplex receptacle outlet, it's coming out at an angle. This is square right here. Can you tell that it's crooked? Look at that, can you? it's coming out, it's coming way out at an angle. And could I put the cover plate back on? Yeah, I could. But then this side of the electrical outlet's gonna stick out beyond the edge of the electrical outlet here. And on this side, guess what? It's gonna be pushed in. This side's sticking out, this side's pushing in. Do you want that when you get all done with your project and stuff? Mind you, I didn't even do anything to this. All I did was take the cover plate off so I could paint the walls, and now all I want to do is put the cover plate back on. Could I put it back on and just leave it and say screw it? Yeah, I could, but I'm not going to. So that's what this next video is going to be about. How to fix something like that. And guess what? You can do it yourself. All you need is a Phillips screwdriver and a standard slotted screwdriver, and you can be your own electrician. Hey, you don't need to pay anybody for that. Okay? Do it yourself and save your money. I'll show you that next time. Oh, and it's funny too. You know what that circuit was on? I looked in the electrical panel, and I had to turn quite a few breakers before I found the right one. I mean, this looks like a living room, doesn't it? This is the main area in the condo. I would call that a living room, wouldn't you? Well, it wasn't on the living room circuit. Guess what circuit it was on? If you were with me before and you saw I had to make some repairs on this electrical outlet, and it was really easy. Of course you can do it too. I've got that on a previous episode. That was on the microwave circuit. And so was this electrical outlet right here. On the microwave circuit? Come on. Yeah, it was. There's a microwave way over there. So the microwave circuit is running the microwave. It's also running that electrical outlet and that one. Well, guess which other electrical outlets it covers? Yes, this one and at least that one, because I checked my tester. I even plugged my tester into that. I wiggled it around a little bit, and I think that one there too is on the microwave circuit. Are you kidding me? I mean, these should be on the living room circuit, and those up there should be on the kitchen circuit. You know, usually that's what will happen for there. And I'm still amazed that is on the microwave circuit, and as well as these, but they were. So hey, sometimes you just have to look, and you have to throw a couple breakers before you find out where the power breaker is. Don't work on any electrical outlets or light switches or any electrical for that matter without turning the breaker off first. Say it isn't so, Joe! Yeah, I've got the power off on this for some unknown reason. Look how that plug, that electrical outlet is coming out of the wall at a cattywampus angle like that. I just got done painting these walls and I took the cover plates off to do that. All I want to do is put the cover plate back on, but I'm not going to put it on that. I'm going to fix that first. You can fix it too. I've just got the breaker turned off, and I've been working on some other electrical outlets. I've got some other ones, and you might want to watch those. I got a separate episode for that. You may think, just gonna watch one video, I can fix them all. Well, you never know what I'm gonna say next. And every video, of course, I can't say the same thing verbatim, right? And so this one here cracked me up. I found the electrical breaker on that, and it's for the entry. And when I turned it off, it turned off the lights and it turned off the electrical duplex receptacle, and it probably turned off this one over here too, and maybe some other light switches. And that's kind of odd too, because when years ago, I was always trained that when you run your circuits, your wall outlets are going to be on a separate circuit. Your lighting your light fixtures, your light switches, they're all going to be run off of a separate light switch or a separate duplex. I got duplex on my mind for some reason. They're going to be on a separate breaker. Usually you don't have breakers
that are intermingled with lights and electrical outlets. That's what I'm trying to say here, okay? Usually in your house, if all your breakers will run, you know, electrical outlets, or they'll run light fixtures, light switches. You don't usually intermingle. So I thought that kind of odd. Well, hey, the show must go on, right? So I got my construction light here. I've got this outlet. We'll get you down here, down and dirty with Joe. What do you think I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna unscrew this, and I've tested this. I'm gonna test it again. It should be off, and it is. The light went off, the electrical outlet went off, and so all I have to do is unscrew it, right? It's got some paint on there. And I always do these by hand. I don't usually use the battery operated drill for that. Okay, this looks like I might have to be careful here. Because see, if I just rip this off, this could rip the paint off up higher or something. I just have to kind of do that business and be careful with that. It almost looks like there's spray texture over that, almost like they had the electrical outlet installed and then they did a spray texture patch on the wall or something, and then they painted over it. Yikes. Okay, they must have done something. Okay, so I'm gonna just look at this and see, now that I have it pulled out, I can just take it and twist it. That's all. That's all I'm gonna do. I don't have to disconnect any wires or anything. Can anybody do this? Of course they can. And now I'm gonna hold it up there like it was screwed back in. That looks way mucho better. Mucho gusto. Okay. Screw it back in. Let's see if we got it tilted. I'm hoping I don't have to tilt it anymore. If I do, well, guess what? I'll just undo the screws and tilt it some more. But I think I got it. I think I've done it. By Joe. We'll see. We'll see how it looks. I'm thinking I might have to tweak it ever so slightly more. Yeah. See, it's still coming out at an angle. Not a whole lot, but because I'm right in the middle of it, why not, if you're gonna do something, why not do it right? You know? It'd take that much longer to do things right than it is to just say, leave it. Let somebody else mess with it later. I'm not gonna do that. I don't want you to do that either. Okay? I'm gonna really wrench on it almost to where it's too far. Now I can gently ease it back into place. I think, let's see how that's gonna be. If I hold that up there, see, I think that's gonna be it. Let's see. Almost looks like I went too far, but I think when I screw it in, it's gonna resettle down straight. Okay? And just be careful with these screws. They're only going in a plastic box, my word. That's why I don't like to use my battery operated drill and ram them in there. You could strip the screw and the plastic. Now what are you gonna do? Now you gotta use a lot bigger screw and mess with it. You know, I mean, anything's pretty much fixable, but all that cranking I did, it's still, good grief. It still looks like it's coming out at an angle. Okay. I thought I had enough. Is the third time going to be the charm? I'm not disconnecting any
wires or anything to make it right. Okay. I'm just not going to do that. I just have to kind of twist that like that. Okay. See, I'm trying to make it kind of come out that way so that when I tighten it down, it's going to be just right where it needs to be. Okay. Try it again. Hey. It's not going to hurt. Unscrew it a couple times. I'm supposed to be painting today, but hey, other things happened. I met the cable guy out here, and we were supposed to get the cable connection and the TV going and all that. Well, I'll talk about that on another video. Now that's looking better. Okay. I'll just have to see. Good Lord. Okay. I'm going to lose you now. Because you're going to say, oh, forget it. This guy. See, it's this metal top thing is kind of at an angle too. And I don't really want to mess with that too much. Because I've had some other ones snap off that have been snapped off. Come on. Okay, that's pretty much it. We're gonna get you in there one way or t'other. Let's just see what happens. That. You watch. Let's see if I've done it too much this time. See, it's weird as I'm screwing it in. It's wanting to tweak back, so I'm hoping this time it's going to tweak back straight. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah. I'm liking that. Okay. Now I'm just going to kind of look at this and eyeball it, and I can adjust it, the top and bottom. Okay. And that's looking pretty straight right where it's at. Okay. I think I can live with that. I think I can live with that. Now I'm going to put the cover plate on. That's the only thing I wanted to do initially. There we go. Okay. I'm liking that. I can live with that. Okay. Well, it took a good 5 minutes out of my life. But I know I'm never going to have to mess with that electrical outlet again. And I got it straight to the best of my ability. When I see something that needs to be fixed, I like to get things fixed. You know, that's just kind of how I am. And I hope you kind of do that too, and you can learn some things along the way with my videos. I make all kinds of stuff, and I show you all kinds of things how to fix on your own, and if I can do it, of course you can too. All right, I can mark that off my list. Thanks for joining me too, by the way. Well, if you've been watching my recent videos, you'll know that I got interrupted with my painting today because the internet guy was going to be here to get Momi's computer hooked up, her modem hooked up, her phone hooked up, her computer hooked up, her printer hooked up, so that she could also have the fax machine running and for our TVs to get hooked up. Now what's going on here? I don't think anything happened today, and I wonder why. Well, that's what this video is going to be about. Okay, there's the TV. And we still got everything coming out of the walls. All kinds of different coaxial cables. Here's a coaxial cable that's coming up way up high. Here's another one, a doubler that's coming out of one wire. Here's another one over there. And let's just, I'm going to walk you around a little bit. I hope you've got your popcorn and your coffee ready, or your popcorn bowl. Here's the cable. Look at this. He gave me, oh, I don't know, 150 feet because there's something I got to do for him before he comes back. And can you believe that? He could not get this one to work. He hooked up, he even hooked up a special fitting down here, and he was gonna put that in. He wasn't getting this proper readings off of here and all that, and that goes down into the garage. Let's just kind of walk around. Here's a couple other ones. Okay, he couldn't get either one of those to work. And look where it's in the closet. It goes up, boom, it goes up here. It looks like it goes up above the attic. Well, can you believe that this area right here, this is a guest bedroom. Here's the guest bedroom closet. It's got a flat ceiling. Here's a little area, it's got a flat ceiling. Here's the bathroom, it's got a little flat ceiling. And do you know, there's no way that he can access the attic, or I can access the attic in that area. That's a no-no too. So I know somebody's done some remodeling here, and because no building inspector will allow you to block off any attic area. Every attic area has to be accessible somehow, okay? And this closet should really have an access crawl hole right here, or in the bathroom. Usually they don't put them in the bathroom. I would not suggest putting it in the bathroom. If you've got a closet, put it in the closet. Nothing, okay? So just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. Let's walk over here. So there's cable connections over there. Here's some cable connections over here, okay? None of them are working properly. He couldn't get a good signal there. He couldn't get a good signal there. He couldn't get a good signal there. And we look at that high one, and it comes out of the wall, and it goes down. And then there's another wire over there. You can't really see it, but there's another wire that goes up on the roof. Okay? Just keep that in mind. We're going to figure this out. You and I are going to figure this out, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with all that cable. Okay? I'm taking my time, and if you want to know what's going on, you will watch the rest of this video. That's just how I'm going to do it. Okay. Now here's some other cables that are inside the condo. Here's some here. Now those two actually go outside, and let's just walk out there real quick. Oh, look at that. Look at that. We're right on the river. Oh, we got some Canadian geese here too. Look at them. Sometimes we'll see, I've seen like 18 out here at one time in a little flock, and then they fly off. And then we've got some other mallards. Those are mallards there. And then there's some other ducks that come along here, and they dive down and they feed down along the bottom. That looks kind of cool when they're doing that. But onward. They're saying, hey, onward, Joe, get on with it. Come on. This is ridiculous. Okay, so those two coaxial cables go out of there. That's just a junction box. There they go. Oh, they're just stopping there. That's just a junction box for those two. And see, they go right up here. Look at that. One of those goes into the master bedroom up there, up high on the wall. One goes up on the roof. Like, what's going on? What's going on up there at the roof, Joe? Well, I'll get to that. Okay? So there's another connection. When the condo was built 15 years ago, that was there. That was not there. That was cut in and installed later for the ones that go up there, okay? So that one on the wall is existing. And then I'm just showing you. I know I'm going back up the stairs. I got to go out into the garage, but I'm showing you the existing ones in the condo, okay? That was one existing one in the condo. This was existing in the condo, okay? That's why he was trying to hook up to there to get our main power feed up into here, because this is where she wants to set up her desk in the spare bedroom. We're either going to set it up there, or she may even install a small little desk in the closet. Maybe we don't install the closet shelves, we just have one closet shelf pull up high or something like that. And she can work out of the closet, or I can be in there with my laptop. Okay, so this is an option for her if there's not enough room to get a nice little desk unit here to get all of her stuff here. I mean, we could take the bed, slide the bed over so that this area is smaller, so that she gets a little bit more room here. The other thought was, hey, even though the bedroom is set up to where the bed faces this direction, okay, Mommy had a good idea. She said, and here's the entrance here. Okay, she said, hey, we could flip this bed around. We could have the headboard on this wall facing this direction, right? And then just have a nightstand over there, so we only have a 2.5, 3 foot area up against the wall, so you have to walk around the bed to get over there. So that's an option. Then the edge of the bed would be over here, but it would be over this direction, making this area a little bit larger for her to get a nice little desk unit in here or whatever's. Okay, so back to this. This is the second existing location in the condo. Okay, this was not here. This was cut in and installed later. See this little metal box? See the flap? That was cut in and installed later. We look at those two wires. Remember I showed you that was coming into the closet. This was stapled up against the wall. I just undid the staple so that I could paint in there. Didn't I do a good job not getting any paint on these? I got the door frame nicely painted, got the wall nicely painted and cut in. Looks clean, man. Anyways, those go up, and those go up into this attic, and they probably go up on the roof too. Okay, so far we got two existing locations. That one, the one downstairs. Now let's go into the master bedroom. Find the existing location in the condo. Okay, this right here was the existing one in the condo, but son of a gun, he cannot get this one to work either. Okay, this was cut in, and well, actually this could have been in the condo initially, but somebody could have cut that in. You know what, I think they cut it in. It's not in a cut-in box, but they did something funky. They cut the back of the box out, okay, out of a junction box, and they screwed it in. I remember. See, there's a screw, there's a screw. There's a stud right there, and they screwed the box into the side. So that's a cut-in box, and this just happened to be new. Well, it wasn't existing. Okay, so where does this one go? We have no idea where it goes, but it's going up, and it looks like somebody installed that after the fact. And there could be another, I'm not gotten out there, but there could be another junction box on the wall, kind of like downstairs for that, where they came up and across. For all I know, maybe there is, and there's a blank plate on it. Well, that other wire goes across, and that goes down. That goes downstairs to that other area off the deck, and then one wire from off the deck goes up above. And when the cable guy got here, we actually want cable. We don't want to use the dish or an antenna, you know, a round antenna dish or anything like that. But the last person here, apparently they used the antenna dish. They came out and they hooked up their TV and different things that way. But we don't want to do that. We want to use the cable that comes in from the street. So that way our cable and our TV and the internet is all interconnected that way. Okay, so we'd like to use something. So the cable guy, he comes in here and he's got to figure out which one of these wires goes to where and which ones are activated and whether or not there's any not activated. Let's go downstairs into the garage. Okay, we'll look down there and see. Usually you'll have your internet connection inside the garage, outside the garage, attached to the wall or something like that. But this happens to be in a condo complex, and so they don't want anything attached to the outside of the wall. They had a blank plate, just like that one there on here. Well, when the guy took it off, he broke it. Poor thing, it snapped off. It was right there. He had all these cables in there, right? So the one that went out to the street was this one. It's in a plastic conduit, so you know that's coming in from the street. He attached everything from there, and then there was 4 other wires, 4 other cables coming into this box, coming out of this box. 2 of the cables are thinner. These 2 right here are thinner than these 2. And why is that? He said, oh, they use cable 69 or whatever. Years ago, they used a thinner cable, and they don't use that stuff anymore. But that's the ones that are going up in our walls. Well, he couldn't get good connections. He even cut off the ends. He cut off the ends and put different connection ends on there. Did you know on coaxial cables there's like 2 or 3 different little connections in here, and one means one thing, means the TV, one means telephones, one means internet. Did you know all that? I didn't. I thought a coaxial cable was a coaxial cable, and you just cut it. And I put ends on before years ago for like an antenna on a house. You know, the old school antennas before they had the dish and before all that cable TV and all that kind of stuff. I just cut it and put it on there. I didn't know any different. But it seemed to work, I thought, at the time anyways. But anyways, he took his readings. He could not get any good connections. He was here over 3 hours. Can you believe that? So keep this in mind, okay? This is in the garage. We'll go back up here. And he took his wire connection and he put it up there. He wasn't getting a good reading, and it timed out after X amount of minutes, and it didn't go to 100% and all that kind of stuff. And so he's racking his brain, what to do. And I was racking my brain too. This was a thought. When you're doing cable TV, okay, let's talk about that for a minute. We got the cable coming in, and initially, if you were with me at the first part of this project, you would have known that this whole area had carpet in it, and then it stopped here, and then it had oak flooring. Well, we just recently got the vinyl flooring planking installed. Doesn't it look good? And when I was taking out the carpet and the carpet tack strip and the carpet pad and everything, they had, as I remember, they had a coaxial cable screwed onto one of these, okay? And then it went down underneath the carpet, along where the carpet tack strip was. Boom, 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 boom. And they had the TV over here. Boom. Well, that's how they had to do it, because they were using the dish. They weren't using this on the interior. They were using a dish network or something, okay? Up on the roof. These were coming down from the roof. They were there, they wanted their TV there. Well, that was a good fix. They decided to do that. I don't know if they pulled the carpet up and then they ran the wire through there and then they re-stretched the carpet, or if it was installed before the new carpet was installed, you know, 3 or 4 years ago on the last person, or if they tried to shove it down there after the fact and they pushed it all in there and got it up here. Well, what am I supposed to do now? If I want a cable TV and I want the TV over there, I'm stressing, like, how am I supposed to get that over there? I was thinking I was going to have to drill a hole. This is a subfloor, and there's a crawl space underneath here. I was going to take a flexi bit, drill a hole from there down through the junction box. Maybe take the junction box off the wall, drill a hole, fish a new coaxial cable up, fish it down over here, put a cut-in box over here, drill another hole with my flexi bit, drill bit. drill it down there, fish a wire from there up over to here, put it all in. And I'm thinking, you know, this is an exterior wall. I don't know if I can do that. And then I was thinking about doing it over here. And there's a gas pipe out there. There's a water pipe out there. And I'm like, you know, this is up kind of high and there's a block in the way there. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to drill that. But I don't have to drill a hole there. You know why? Because on most cable TVs nowadays, well, here's the thing. Wherever you have your main TV, your main power coming in, the TV that you want your cable box on, okay? You decide where you want that. It doesn't have to be in this room. It can be in your guest bedroom. It could be in your master bedroom. It could be wherever you want it to be, right? And that particular TV, if you got the TV box that you hook your TV to, okay, your main one. That main one, did you know all your other TVs in your condo, in your house, you can stream off of the one main TV where you got your cable box, okay? The only thing is, if we had the TV here and if we had the main cable coming from there over to here and boom, 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 this would be the only TV in this room that you can record things off of. And then if you wanted to watch that recording, hear me out here, if you wanted to watch that recording of whatever series was on TV or Netflix or Hulu or whatever, Prime, and you do a recording, that's the only TV you can watch that recording from, okay? Even though your other TVs are streaming from there, on upstairs, in the back bedrooms, wherever, you can't get the recording of your program. And if you're streaming like that, all those other TVs only have to be plugged into an electrical outlet, okay, such as this. And then the TV streams from this TV, but you can't record from these other TVs that are just plugged in, okay? And you can't get the recording from whatever you got off that TV. Does that all make sense? Now, and you have to have a smart TV, or you have to have a TV that says Roku on it. And if you don't, you can buy a little zip strip thing from Roku, and you can plug that into your TV upstairs that's not a Roku TV, and you still have that little Roku, and then that can stream down to your other TV. Does that all make sense? Okay, so hear me out here, because we're trying to figure this all out, right? Okay, so obviously it's not going to be in this room, even if we were to get this cable connection hooked up. We know this is the main cable from the place. We know those go up to the roof. We can't access anything from the roof because that's from an antenna dish. Okay, we don't want the dish. We want to use the cables in the condo and that are coming from the straight, because we want everything together. And Mommy uses this particular company all the time anyway, so we want the cables. Okay, so let's look at other locations where that cable could go. Okay, that's what we're doing. We're just, you know, you're eating your popcorn now, you're sitting back relaxing in your favorite armchair, and you're figuring this thing out with Joe. All right, here's our master bedroom. Okay, here's a TV that we just have plugged into the wall because we wanted to make sure that everything was going to work after he got everything connected. So we know those two go out and they go up on the roof. We can't use those. We could have possibly used this connection. Okay, had that one worked, we could have the main TV in here. That's what initially we were hoping to have. We were hoping to have this particular TV be the one, a big TV, to be the one that we can record off of, that the internet box would be on there. Now, incidentally, if you wanted all your other TVs to be able to record certain things, you'd have to get an internet box. You'd have to pay extra, like 19, 20 bucks a month for every single box for all your other TVs in your house. That doesn't make sense. If you got 5 TVs, you're going to spend an extra, you know, you're already paying for one. You got 4 more TVs at 20 bucks a pop per month. That's another 80 bucks just so that you can tape and record a TV show in the other rooms. No, forget that. Just stream it to your one box, okay? So we wanted it right here, but we also wanted another connection where Momi's going to put her computer and stuff, okay? So keep this in mind right here. That's where we wanted it recording for TV shows, and then we wanted her internet connection all in this room here. This is the spare bedroom. This is just a tight, small little condo, okay? She's going to hook up her computer. She's got a modem for the computer. She's got a phone that hooks up for a fax or for incoming phone calls. Now, granted, we don't even use a phone anymore, but did you know for her to get the internet stream, for her to get the internet, it was cheaper for her to pay extra for a phone and what do you call it, bundle it together than to just have the internet connection. Isn't that crazy? Because I told her later, I don't, who faxes anymore? You don't have to fax anymore. You can do all that through the computer and stuff. You don't need a fax machine anymore, and you don't need a printer to do your fax and get it interconnected with all this other stuff. I said, that's hogwash. Just call them up and tell them to get rid of the phone. She called them up and she said, well, for me to get rid of the phone, it's going to cost more per month than if I had a phone. Okay, whatever. So she's got that. It rings all the time with junk mail and different things. She's used a fax. Oh, I don't know. We've used a fax maybe 4 or 5 times. But anyways, so that's got to be hooked up through the router, through their modem, through the computer, and then she's got her printer that has to be connected to that and all that. Okay, so and we're going to have a TV in here. Okay, for whoever stays here, right? Okay, so now he couldn't, and so there's the connection for that. So in reality, we wanted this coaxial cable for the connection for the phone and her internet connection, right? We only wanted that there because we wanted the main TV. We wanted the cable coming out of the wall over here to work too, so that would work the TV. And then we're going to take their TV box, that comes with the cable TV company, and we're going to plug it in here so that we could record programs off of that. Got it so far? TV we wanted hooked up there. Internet connection we wanted hooked up there. But things aren't always, we don't live in a perfect world, do we? If we did, I could just say bing bang boom and it would work. Well, this one he's not getting good connection with. This other one in this other room he's not getting good connection with. And try as he might, he was here over 3 hours, 3.5 hours. All of his testing would not work. He's scratching his head. There's four coaxial cables coming into the condo. He can only locate 2, maybe 3 that go into the condo. He's like, where are the other ones? Somebody had to sabotage this when they were doing a remodel or something, or they're up in the attic that's inaccessible with a splitter that maybe it's not split properly, that's not hooked up properly. And here's the other thing. When they installed these coaxial cables in the condo, this condo's like 15 years old. When they installed it all, somebody might have put a nail, it could have been stapled next to a stud, and whoever installed the sheetrock, they put a nail through it because they missed the stud, or a screw through it. Or maybe when they stapled this next to the stud, somewhere, up in a wall, up in the ceiling, somewhere, maybe they nailed the staple too tight and it's pressing on this so much that it's kinking one of the things, and he's not getting a good reading. He's not getting an overall good reading on. I mean, it could be all kinds of things. So all the wires that are coming out, the cables that are coming out in the garage, none of them are getting a good reading, and he's only able to locate a couple. in the condo. He's got this one here, the one over there in the master bedroom, and the one downstairs. And he's not getting any good readings off any of them, because I told him, I says, hey, in reality, we could. This is the guest bedroom. We only need one main connection. If you can get this one to work, we can put the TV in here that has the box. We can record her favorite shows in this room. If she wants to watch her favorite shows that are recorded, or her favorite series on Netflix or something like that, if she wants to record something like that that's not that she can't find directly through Netflix without recording it first, she can lay up here and watch her favorite recordings. Okay, no biggie. And then the other TV that we have over here, we'll just have to make sure it's a streaming TV, it's a smart TV, it's something that can stream, that can read from there. A Roku. I don't even know if you have to have Roku. As long as it says smart TV, as long as it can stream over to another TV where your main computer cable connections are coming into the house or condo, and you have the box over here, then it will work. Because see, all these other locations, all we need over here, all we have to do is plug the TV into the wall, into an electrical outlet, just like that. That's all you have to do. I mean, obviously we'd push the wire down there and we get it all redirected. This isn't even the TV that's going to go there. This was initially going to be the TV that we were going to put over in the spare bedroom, okay, the guest room. And it still will be. We're going to put a bigger one over here. We just had it plugged over in here, so when the cable guy came, he was going to put the cable box over here, plug it in, make sure the TV works, yeah. And then when we get the other TV, we're going to put that one over here. Okay, but you just have a TV that plugs into the wall, and the one downstairs just plugs into the wall, and then this one up here would be the one with the main cable connection. Okay, and so that's how we were going to do it. But alas, he's like, hey, we can't find a good connection. What are you going to do? Well, we've got to get a cable from here that goes and installed, without making a mess of the walls and stuff, that goes and connects down into the garage. Okay? And so he was like, how are we going to do that? This wall does not line up with the garage wall. The garage wall is about from here that way, because this cantilever's over on the second floor. It doesn't line up with the first floor wall. So we can't access this to the garage. The garage wall is about right in here. Does that make sense? And the garage this second floor wall cantilevers the garage by about 3 feet. So we can't access the garage here either, because I was going to cut a cut-in box in here, drill a hole, fish the wire down there into the garage. Boom. And then bring it up through that, route it along the baseboard. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, can't do that. So we're looking in the garage. So what do you suppose I'm going to have to do? Well, the bed's right here, and what I'm going to do, the garage off of this wall, it's about 3 feet over to where the garage door is. Okay, then we're inside the garage. Okay, so let's go down there into the garage and kind of think about this, figure out what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to have to do it. Are you ever going to run into something like this? You may. I mean, none of the cable wires in the condo are working. Okay? So how to do it without making a mess of everything and cutting up open ceilings and walls and doing all that. As you saw, I'm getting done painting. My word. I don't want to do all that. See, here's the wires coming out. Okay? Well, I know this wall is the tenant separation wall between us and the next condo. This wall here, okay? And the bedroom, you see out there, see the wall? That's the bedroom wall. So the garage is back set about 3 feet where I was showing you upstairs. So 3 feet over, and then we got the bed, right? We're just imagining this thing, okay? So now that's this wall. That's this wall. Kaboom. So what I'm thinking about doing is, and then it's got this inset thing here. I have no idea what's going on with that. See, they probably got different wood in there, and they frame that out. This little soffit thing is to accept that, and it runs across. I don't think there's anything in there. I don't think there's any wiring or anything in there. This happens to be the electrical panel, which is outside. They furred it out into the garage because it's right next to the front door, and they were able to do that because they inset it into the wall. We'll just show that very briefly. See how they did that? That kind of slick. They did that, and it's right here. They couldn't make it flush because they didn't want that sticking out so somebody can whack their head on it or whatever. So, because I was wondering in the garage, what was that? What is that thing bumped out? Is there a concrete column in the wall or a post? You know, see how it bulges out? See how they built that out? That's because that's inset further than the thickness of that wall. Okay, so anyways, I got to get the cables over to here, and how to do that. So where the bedroom is, I'm gonna. Shall we start from the bedroom? Well, I'm gonna have to cut a junction box in here to put a plate on there inside this wall between the wall cavities. You got 2x4s every 16-inch centers, and you probably got a double plate up there. I'm not quite sure. Then you've got the garage door that rolls up here, and so I'm not sure if I got enough room above the garage and below that soffit to cut in a cut-in box up there. I might do some probing and figure that out. Worst case scenario, if I don't, I can cut it down below that, and then when the cable comes out of there, then I can fish it up. They can staple it, boom, 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 staple it, along there, up through there, across, down the wall over here, down at the bottom or something, and then back up. They can either do that or, see, I was thinking about cutting a cut-in box up here and then having them fish it into the cut-in box and then fish it down. I could still do that. They will come across at the bottom of that soffit, straight across, surface mounted, and then it would go into a cut-in box there, and then I would fish it down the wall between the studs. I got to see, the next stud bay is probably over there. It's probably 16 inches, 14 and a half inches right in here, and I could cut it up high, fish something down through there. If there's not there's probably a fire block in there too. See, I was trying to do it without having it exposed too far. They could come across like this and over and then into that box. You know, I put a cover plate, a 2-gang cover plate like that, the one that he broke, drill a hole in it so that the cable just goes right into there. Do you see what I mean? Then they make all the connections up into there, and then that cable would connect up to the one that's coming from the street, which is this one. And they put a connection on there. They got a ground wire in there and the connection and all that kind of stuff. And then that's the only one that's going to feed this entire place, because we're gonna have the TV up in that room. We're gonna have the internet connection for internet and telephone and all that kind of stuff. So see, from there, it goes up across, boom, 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 right here into a cut-in junction box with a round hole on the plate. This is going to be one continuous wire, okay? Then it's going to go up into the wall, okay? Now let's see, if you visualize this, let's see what's going to happen. Now I've got to do some measuring and holding my breath when I drill, make sure I don't hit a wire, plumbing pipe, or who knows, you know. Then I've got to come up here, and remember, off of this wall, the garage wall is about 2.5, 3 feet over, which is probably about there. Okay, so then, you know, technically I could measure from there over, leave the bed exactly where it is. I could cut a cut-in box, boom, the same height as the electrical outlet, the the telephone jack, which we're not using that type of internet connection. Okay, another box right here, right there, with a blank plate on it. I cut that hole, drill with the flexi bit, boom, down through the floor, down into the ceiling, and then 6 inches lower than the floor, or 8 inches lower than the floor, it's going to come out below that soffit. Remember where the garage doors bracket is held up? Cut another hole there. So when it comes up in the wall, it's going to come up through the bottom of the floor, come up in out of this box. Then out of the box, it's going to have to zip across that way. So we're going to have an exposed coaxial cable, black coaxial cable going across, or it's going to come down, and it's going to go down to the carpet, along the baseboard, kaboom, 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 along the baseboard, down, sandwiched down there, because you remember the baseboard is up about, what is it, ½ inch or 5/8 of an inch above the subfloor. So if I can wedge it down in there, I can get it nice and carefully so we don't have to see it exposed, right? Boom, 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 boom. And that one wire is actually going to stop about in here somewhere, because we're going to have the TV connected on top of a desk or something, table, something right there. And then out of that, they could put a splitter with another cable coming out of there to go wherever her computer connection is going to be. If she has a desk unit here, then we only need one there, and then they stop, and then there's another little wire that goes up to the TV out of a splitter box, and then there's another wire that goes over here to her modem and their cable connection box. If she decides to put this stuff in here, this door swings open, and so her desk would have to be up against that back wall, and it's not a very big room, so I don't know if she's going to want to be in here or not. But if she does, and the TV's here, then out of the splitter, there'll be a longer coaxial cable for her internet connection. Boom, along there, underneath the door, across, over here, and then up to her desk or down below. All of her connections will come up, connect into the modem box and all that kind of stuff. So that's why he left all this wire here. He was like, you know what his idea was? He was going to take a bit and drill it right between the carpet and the baseboard. Now mind you, this carpet folds under the baseboard. So no matter what you do, you're going to goober up the bottom of the baseboard, or you're going to rip some strands of the carpet out. I mean, properly, you should pull the carpet back so the carpet strands are not in your way when you're drilling with this twist drill bit. And then if he drilled right here, he'd have to drill almost at a straight up and down angle, because if he drills too much of an angle there, it's actually not going to be accessible down below, because you're going to be inside the wall. You're not going to be on the outside of the wall. So you'd have to drill his hole right in here somewhere. You know, cut it square out of the carpet, just a little square. You know, big enough to get his drill bit down in there, big enough for your coaxial cable, right? Drill a hole, boom, and then it would be on the outside of the wall of the garage. You see what I'm saying? And then the cable would come up here, and then you could bend it over to here, and see, my finger's underneath the baseboard right there. See? And then you could fish it under there carefully, fish it underneath the bed, boom, 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 boom. Well, I didn't really want him to do that. And he said, well, then I can't do it today. I said, yeah, I realize that. You're going to have to come back. And so I'm going to take the time to do it right, to make it look right. Now, see, I don't really want to put a blank plate there with the coaxial cable coming down. You know, if I'm going to do this, I might as well do it right. I don't want to have a black coaxial cable going down there and having somebody say, what's that for? So yes, what do you suppose I'm going to have to do? Well, I'm probably going to have to move the bed. I'll have to move that. Then I can slide this over, you know, a couple inches at a time, back and forth I go. Where I stop, nobody knows except me. But this edge would be over here. So I'd slide the whole bed over. That way I could move it over 2.5 feet, because you remember the garage end of the garage, where the garage door is about right here, right? Well, I move that over. If we were to keep the bed in this position, then I would be able to cut a cut-in box in behind the bed, which would be right in here somewhere. And then out of that, come down so nobody sees it, then zip it across, okay? But if she were to ever flip the bed around, my word, I'm gonna have to talk to her. If we flip the bed around, no matter where I put it along that back wall, you're gonna see the coaxial cable, right? If the headboard goes over here, that would actually be pretty good, depending what kind of desk, and if she decides to put her desk unit over here, need enough room between the desk to walk in through this area to get into bed and all that kind of stuff. Granted, it's just for guests. We're not going to use the bed much. But if we do that, then it would make sense to flip this bed around, wouldn't it? Up against this wall. So there's no way I want to drill from over here and try to come up here, because I'm not on the outside of the garage wall here. The tenant separation wall is this one between us and the next owner. Okay, so if I were to drill right here, I'm drilling right up, and the wires are going to be coming out of the ceiling, and then it's going to have to be zipped over and then across. Boom, boom, boom. I'd rather have it come out of a junction box below the ceiling and over by the garage door rail, so to speak. You know what I mean? As the garage door comes up, it'll be over there, and then you'll see it. Kaboom, kaboom, up and across and across and over and down, you know, downstairs like I was showing you. So he left me, he left me plenty of coaxial cable. I probably got 150 feet there, and I may only need 80, 90 feet, but whenever they come back out here, see, I'll have that wire one continuous piece, okay? It's not going to terminate out of there, okay? When I pull it out through there or fish it down, I want enough wire to zip all around here. And I can do all this and push all the wire down and have the wire stop there with the rest of the roll sitting right here. You see what I'm saying? And then it will continue down, it will continue the wire. I'll have it long enough wire to hook it up down by the garage wall. And that will all be done. Then I can call them up and tell them to come back out here. Then they can terminate that end, and they can do the splitter and do whatever they have to do. And by that time, we'll have figured out exactly where she wants the location of her desk. If she's going to put a little funky thing in here, or if she's going to put it here. I think she's going to want it over here in the light, and maybe figure some nice little small desk unit there. And do that. So I may not have to fish it in here. I got plenty of wire. I'll probably have 50 extra feet. Well, they can take that back, and they can use it for little extension pieces, you know, in their next job, from the wall to a TV, from the wall of fishing it over to a computer, whatever. So it's not like they can't use that for something else. Okay. So man, that's what my dilemma was today. And of course I was supposed to be painting door frames today, but I don't think I'm going to get to it. And so now I got to make myself a material list of the cut-in boxes I need, the cover plates. Instead of a blank plate like this, I'm going to get one that's got a hole in it, you know, for a coaxial cable. And then after I install the box, then I'll have to fish the coaxial cable through that and continue it over to the next place, over to the next, over to the next. And so, see, I've got a cut-in box here and a plate with a hole in it here. And down in the garage, I've got 1 or 2 locations. I'll have to really think about how I want them to bring that wire in from the garage into that location where they're at now. And then the location where they're at, of course, that wire, that cable has to come through there. So what can I do? With the 2-gang blank plate, I could lift it up and they could sneak it in through the top, through the bottom, through the side, or I could drill a hole right through the middle of it or whatever, so that the wire can go in that way if I want to do something like that. Because you can't get a 2-gang. This is a single gang blank plate. You can't get a 2-gang blank plate with a hole in it, I don't think. I've never seen them. So I have to drill that by myself, or we'll figure that out later. But that's my next, one of my next projects coming up, and I'll make a video of how I'm going to access that, you know, cutting it in, drilling the hole and all that kind of stuff, fishing the wire through there. I've got to do that before they come back out here to hook us all up. And then, of course, we've got to call and schedule them again. So I got the guy's name, I got his badge number. I'm going to ask for him to come out because he's the one who knows what's going on. If he doesn't come out, that's okay. Somebody else can come out. I can tell them what to do. And I asked the guy, I said, don't close our order out. Can you keep it open to say, we're going to be calling after we run the wire, and after the owner runs the wire and stuff like that, so that hopefully when we call back, they don't put us at the end of the line and say, oh, we can't get there for another week. Hopefully they can expedite it, and as soon as we say we can get you, we want you back out, hopefully they can schedule us within the next couple days, because we need to get moved in here. And this is holding me up from finishing my painting. Mommy wants me to take care of this next thing on my plate, so I'm going to make a list and I'm going to get out of here, and next time I'm here I'm going to start figuring this out and making some videos of that. Watch that if you're curious how this is all going to work, but I think you got it. And for me right now, it's time to go. So thanks so much for watching this video. Here's a couple other things we had to really think about. Even if I were to drill a hole through the carpet, cut the carpet out, you know, and put it in about right there, cut a little square hole there big enough to get the drill bit in there, then it's gonna be lodged into that little soffit in the garage, and that soffit might be full of wood, who knows. And so see, I still would have to fish it out of there and cut an inspection hole, put a cut-in box upside down on the soffit, and hope that there's enough room to put the cut-in box in there and fish the wire out through that and all that kind of stuff. I don't really want to do that. I want to do it right. And say, at first we were thinking this was the exterior wall, this is where the garage ended. Well, that's not the case. This cantilever's over, the garage stops about right here. Then I was thinking, okay, let's just drill a hole from here. I could put a cut-in box, drill a hole, fish the wire down through there. Then I went outside, got to check everything out, and that's when I realized, oh, this wall was cantilevered over the garage by about 3 feet. So you don't want to start doing things really quick like and find out you just drilled a hole through your ceiling downstairs, you drilled a hole outside in the soffit around your wall. Now you got to patch that. So take some time, think about it, and go for it.